Hey guys, so I'm Devin, and this is Keenan. This here is Stormy, who Keenan is snuggled up to, trying to stay warm because it's a little chilly this morning. And I just wanted to make a little video about Keenan in particular. I get a lot of questions about him, so I thought I would just make a whole video dedicated to Keenan. So literally the only time I can do this is when he is sleeping very early in the morning. Otherwise he'd be like. So Keenan is 2.5 years old. His mother is an English bulldog and his father is a Chinese Crested. So he is basically a hairless bulldog. He kind of has the bulldog body, although he's not quite as short and fat. He does have long legs, but he's got the wrinkles, you know, and that look, that bulldog stance. And he is about 98% hairless. He has his mohawk and he's got some little peach fuzz. But other than that, he's my naked dog. And being hairless comes a whole slew of skin issues. Almost from day one, I started noticing some skin issues popping up. In the beginning, it was just blackheads and an occasional little pimple here and there. Not a big deal, although back then I obsessed over it a little bit, trying to figure out ways to get rid of it. Now that's the least of my worries. He is pretty much covered in blackheads and he doesn't like to be messed with, so they're just there. When he was about 6 months old, I'm gonna say, he started getting more rash-like symptoms. On the back of his neck, he would get like these like blisters almost, you know, that were filled with liquid. They were very small. And he would usually scratch them open and then they would go away, but they were covering the whole back of his neck. So when I took him to the vet to be fixed, they ran some allergy tests. They insisted that they did food allergy testing, which cost me over $700. And the results of those tests showed, it was like a scale from 1 to 6, I believe. And, you know, 6 being highly allergic and 1 being not so much allergic. And he registered in the 2 to 3 range on everything. Peas, potatoes, oats, eggs, turkey, and there's a 6th one, but I can't remember it. But yeah, literally everything that's in commercial dog food. So, I mean, aside from making his food, which I have done in the past, especially for Stormy, because she had a bunch of stomach issues, and the only thing that helped back then was making her food, and she loved it. So, aside from making food for Keenan, I did the best that I could, finding him a food that was still balanced, but didn't have most of these ingredients, at least, you know, at the top of the ingredient list. So he's on a good high quality dog food that's grain-free. He gets dry kibble and then he gets a little bit of canned food on top of it, and that's mostly to hide his pills in so that he just gobbles it down and doesn't realize that there's medicine in there. And she's snoring. I'm sure you can hear, aren't you? Changing his diet did absolutely nothing. And there was no medicine given to me by this first vet that I seen. So a few months go by, the problem wasn't getting any better, so I found a new vet, and immediately they told me, like, oh, sorry, I basically wasted my $700 on the food allergy test because they're, you know, they're not that accurate, and his symptoms weren't necessarily food allergy related. So they thought it was more of a environmental allergen, like grass or, you know, dust, whatever. And so they didn't see doing any more testing necessary at the time. They put him on an allergy medicine, which he's still on to this day. It's very expensive. It's like $2.50 per pill. That first time to that vet, they also gave him a steroid. So immediately taking the combination of these two pills, his symptoms completely went away. His skin was great. And for that entire summer, his skin was great. Shh. You're noisy. And then over some time, they slowly started coming back. I've been to the vet countless times. Can't even tell you. And every time we go, they give the same medicine. They give him an antibiotic, which changes. He's been on a few different ones, and prednisone. The only thing that ever seems to help him is the prednisone. Of course it does. It's a very powerful steroid. It kills everything. After long-term use, though, it makes it so that his body won't be able to fight these infections on his own. It's going to have to rely on this medicine. So that is the risk of giving it to people also long-term. But yeah, so after a few months and his symptoms started coming back, they also started to evolve into something different. Now, well, I should say, back then, a couple months ago, he would get large abscesses on his neck. They almost never opened. Like he never, I mean, he scratched them, but he never like scratched them open to the point where they were draining out. They would just swell up to probably grape size, and then a couple days later they'd go down, and then a day or two later they'd come back out on the other side. It was just ongoing battle, and every time he'd get one, we'd go to the vet and they'd give him prednisone. He does have one on his neck now that is healing, but aside from that one, it's been a few months since he's got them on his neck. Now he gets them on his feet. He has one foot now, super painful looking. He has 3 abscesses on one foot, and he's getting a new one on the opposite foot. And it breaks my heart. I do not want to give him prednisone anymore. And unfortunately, that's the only thing I found that actually takes them away temporarily. I'm to the point now where I want to find out what's causing it and be able to prevent it instead of just chasing after these abscesses popping up. And so here's the current lineup. We have his prednisone, which is steroid, which is currently empty. He hasn't been on that for probably about 2 or 3 weeks now. Trying to stay away from this one from now on. We have an antifungal, then we have antibiotic, which is almost all. This one is cephalexin. He's been on quite a few different ones. This is just over-the-counter allergy pills, and this is his prescription allergy pill. This is Apoquel. Then we have some topical stuff. All of these are chlorhexidine base. This one is just pure, like concentrated version. This is a foam, and this is a wipe, and I think these two have like other stuff added in them as well. And then these are the natural, adding to his food items. We got the colloidal silver, golden paste, which is turmeric and coconut oil and pepper, and CBD oil, which just got this today, so I have no results on if this helps or not, but we're gonna give it a try. I want to fix the problem, and I feel so bad for him because he's obviously in pain. I mean, he's such a happy, playful dog, so rambunctious and spunky. To see him, you know, just lay around all day, makes me know that he's hurting. He's hurting, he's uncomfortable, he's just miserable. So today is actually Sunday. Past couple days have been a little rough, and tomorrow I'm going to try to get him into the vet and just see if they can try something else, you know? They have recommended me taking him to a specialist. There is an animal dermatologist, but it is like 2 hours away from here. So it's going to be a bit of a hike. He's not the best trained dog, I will admit. I fall short in a lot of those areas. To give him a 2-hour car ride, and who knows how expensive that's going to be. You know, it's something that I'm just I'm putting off as long as I can. I know it's going to happen eventually. I'm just like preparing myself for it, I guess. I've done so much research online, like what causes recurring abscesses and cysts, and you know, allergies really never pops up, so I don't think it's allergy related. I think, and I'm not a doctor, but I think he has a autoimmune deficiency, that he either has a hyperactive immune system or an underactive immune system, and he just needs some really good immune support. I do have him on a probiotic now, which isn't in the little medicine clip that I have. That one I just added like 2 days ago, so maybe that'll help him with his immune support. So that pretty much sums up his medical issues. There are some other little things popping up here and there that I'm noticing. But again, it's something I need to just bring it up at the vet tomorrow or whenever they can get us in, and go from there. So it was actually by complete accident that I got Keenan. A couple years ago, I had a friend living with me, and she wanted to get a dog. And at first I was kind of on the fence because I already have Storm, and so I was hesitant. But my obsession with animals took over, and I agreed to it. So we actually found him on Craigslist, and it was, you know, from a couple who had the English Bulldog and the Chinese Crested. They mated by accident, and so therefore they had these puppies. Which, by the way, they had 4 puppies. There were 2 hairless and 2 with hair. So we got the one hairless, the boy, and the owners kept the other hairless one, who is a girl, who the last pictures I've seen of her look exactly like Keenan. There was a $100 rehoming fee, and we went to see him and brought him home that day. Everything was great at first. The 2 dogs got along, they were buddies. If you were looking for Keenan, chances are find Stormy, because he would be right there with her. So fast forward a few weeks, and some stuff happened, and my friend had to move out. We agreed mutually that Keenan would stay here. because this was his home. He was, you know, he was used to being here. He was Stormy's buddy, so I took, you know, full responsibility for him. And it wasn't long after that that the two dogs got in their first fight. It wasn't a bad fight. My brother was here at the time, who is my neighbor. We were cooking in the kitchen and the dogs got into a little scuff and we were right there, so we separated them, put one in the bedroom, you know, shut the door, and that was that. I thought maybe it was because there was food or because my brother was there and there was some sort of dominance battle happening, which is probably true, but I kind of brushed it off. It wasn't long after that it happened again, which now it is, to this day, it's happened a few times. I want to say maybe 5. I don't know, I haven't kept track, but one thing I have kept track of is the amount of time between the fights, because in the beginning it was like, you know, once every week or two. They were all very bunched together, and then, you know, I really started to manage the situation. I, you know, never give them new toys when they're together. I stand between them when they're eating. I don't let strangers come in the house with them, you know, just a free-for-all. You know, they're either in their crates or in separate rooms or, you know, whatever. And I'm very cautious on the affection that I give to one or the other while the other one is around. So I've just been managing, you know, the best I can, and it seems to be working, because there was a 7-month span between fights, and then there was a fight, and now since that fight, it's been 9, almost 10 months since the last fight. So whatever it is, I believe that I'm helping a lot by managing it, and I also think it's something they're working through on their own. 99% of the time he is the dominant one. However, he relies on her for a lot of things. Like, he is a chicken when it comes to going outside at nighttime when it's dark. He won't do it. He'll get out to the porch and he'll just stop. But if she's with, they're fine. Also, the cuddling. I mean, even back when they were fighting, they would have a fight, and then a couple hours later, they're like this, cuddled up, sleeping. So, I mean, it was obviously a very scary and painful thing to go through. There was a time where I contemplated finding Keenan a new home, which broke my heart to a million pieces, but we stuck it out, and I think we're gonna be okay. You know, I can't say there will never be another fight, but I'm doing my best to prevent that. And I'll add that none of the fights had any serious injuries, you know, just a couple little scratches, but both of them were okay. No vet visits, nothing crazy. So obviously, a hairless dog is unprotected from the environment. So in the summertime, you have to be really careful about being outside in the sun for too long. He has to get lots of baths because A, because of his skin issues, and B, because he's hairless and he literally sweats. Normally dogs don't sweat, but he does in the summertime. You know, you can touch his back and there will be little beads of sweat on it. So he gets pretty stinky, and he gets a bath once every week to 2 weeks. And then also in the wintertime, he obviously needs to wear clothing. For his size, which, by the way, he weighs 60 pounds, maybe a little bit more, it's damn near impossible to find dog clothes that fit him. So I got sick of it, so expensive, and I started making my own. I'm gonna make a video on that as well, because I think it would be helpful to other people who have larger dogs that need clothing, or, you know, if you just want to put clothing on your larger dog. And then I also have a very easy trick for making t-shirts out of human t-shirts or kid size t-shirts. So I'm gonna make a video about that as well, and it is pretty much fall now, so it's soon that time, and he doesn't mind it. Usually the first time for the season that he has to wear clothing, he's not real thrilled about it. He does a lot of rolling around and rubbing on furniture and stuff, but he very soon realizes that, hey, this is kind of nice, it's keeping me warm, so I'm okay with it. And then it's also hilarious because after wearing clothing all winter long, he has tan lines in the summer. Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard the first time I actually noticed it. But yeah, he definitely has farmer tan come summer. So I think that about wraps everything up for this video. I hope you learned a little bit about this guy right here. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. What? 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 Well, where is it? Where is it at? I don't have it. You're funny. You're so funny.